Hey guys, it's Bailey and welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a quick review of a relatively new product from e.l.f. It's their Intense Ink Eyeliner, retails for $3. They sent me this probably a few weeks ago at this point, but it took me that long to try it out because for me, e.l.f.'s felt tip eyeliners, which is exactly what this is, have been hit or miss. So I really wanted to give it a good go, see if it dried out, which has been a personal experience that I've had with these. And so now I'm ready to share my thoughts. Let's get into it. For starters, like I said, retails for $3. It is in some shade of black. Black is black, but the truth is there is only one shade within this line so far. And what sets this apart from other felt tip liners in the e.l.f. Cosmetics liner line overall is how dramatically this tip is tapered. You can see it is significantly chubbier than the average felt tip liner, but once you get really close up in there, you can see that the tip is pretty large as well. Fortunately though, it's not rigid, it is super flexible, and so you really feel a nice soft texture across your lid. It doesn't drag, it's not so rough, and I think you'll be able to see this in the demo that it kind of drags your eyelid along with it, which is really good in case you have kind of sensitive eyelids. Sometimes those with sensitive skin in general have to steer clear of felt tip liners, go to something like a brush or a rubberized tip because the felt can just be a little bit too rough and irritate the eyelids. Not at all with this. The other thing you sometimes have to worry about with a felt tip liner is that they don't lay down a ton of product. They either get dry really fast, and so like I said, wanted to use this for a few weeks because it is a pretty prominent issue, not just with e.l.f.'s felt tip liners, but felt tip liners in general. Really have to say that it has not dried out so far, and it lays down a really nice, somewhat opaque line. You'll see in the demo that it is relatively opaque, but to get like the blackest black pigmentation, I do find I have to go over those lines a few different times, but it eventually does build up to that opacity. Speaking of actually putting it into use, I have to say that I tend to prefer this kind of felt tip over the other felt tips I've tried from e.l.f. or felt tips in general. That dramatically tapered tip and the flexibility that you get on the end of that tip really makes it easy to lay down a nice line, whether it is you want an ultra thin, you're not even trying to go for a cat eye, but you just want the thinnest but opaque line across your upper lash line. This is great for that, but at the same time, it's also great for this relatively dramatic cat eye that I'm wearing right now. As far as lasting power goes, I have to say I'm pretty impressed. I forgot to take a before picture, but I did take a 9-hour after shot right before I shot this video and actually touched up and made my eyeliner a little bit more dramatic. But that after shot, I think, says a lot about the liner. I applied it without primer, without powder, without anything over my lids, and it withstood the test of time. I've also worn it over powders, over primers, over anything else you might want to put on your lids, cream shadows, and it lasted really, really well, if not better, obviously, over those, because you have something that's actually creating a nice, clean, pristine base for it to glide over. But even if you're not a primer and shadow kind of girl, you could just slap this on before, like at the beginning of the day, and you are good to go, and you can guarantee it's lasting all day. That being said, when I first got this, I kind of had to ask myself why choose this particular pen over any other kind of liner e.l.f. offers, because they do have cheaper liquid liners and they have other felt tip liners, and so I wanted to kind of go through my experiences with those, give you the pros, the cons, why you might pick this one over those other liners as well. First of all, like I said already, the tapered tip really is what sets this apart from the entire e.l.f. liner line. The shape is totally unique to the collection, and in fact, I think makes application easier. So if you like felt tip liners but you sometimes struggle, you need a little bit more flexibility, a softer felt tip, because this is honestly the softest I've felt from e.l.f., this would be a good alternative for you. One reason why you might choose a felt tip pen period over another kind of liner like e.l.f.'s liquid eyeliner. This, by the way, it was a limited edition. It was like a holiday line, but this is the general idea of this liner. It's basically a potted liquid liner, and it has a brush here on the end of the applicator. And the thing with these, this is a great liner, not just the silver, but like the black. It performs really, really well, and it is truly one of the most budge-proof liquid liners I've ever tried. But you get a little bit less control with the brush. The brush can sometimes pick up a lot of product, and that gets a little out of control sometimes. And the last time I tried the black liner from this line, it didn't dry down completely matte. It had kind of a satin or shiny sort of patina finish, I guess you could call it that. And so I know a lot of people, that's unappealing to a lot of people. So if you want something that's a little bit more matte, this is not completely matte, but it's pretty stinking close, this might be another reason to gravitate towards this kind of felt tip as opposed to another. The other kind of felt tip that I've tried from e.l.f. was within the Essential collection, I believe, way back when I first started using makeup, first started trying e.l.f. I don't know that they since reformulated it, but I do know that they've gotten new packaging, at least that's what it says on their website. It's $1 cheaper than this guy. I think they retail for $2 individually, and they do have a wider array of shades to choose from, but the tip there is a little bit more rigid, and at least I haven't tried the new liners from the new packaging, but with the old liners, what I constantly found was that it was a gamble whenever you opened it, whether it was going to be like this great, fantastic new pencil that had fluid flowing just like crazy, or whether it's going to be dry as a bone and you basically had to throw it away. There was no reviving it. And so this has a little bit of a firmer clasp on it. You can actually press it down and hear it click to know it's completely sealed, whereas you didn't have that with the other Essential eyeliners. Like I said, that may have changed with the new packaging. Let me know below if you tried them. So that's another kind of pro with this sort of liner. The con obviously being that you don't have that color range, because seriously guys, there are like teals and purples and browns, everything you could want in that liner collection, it's there, but you just might have to sacrifice a little bit of quality and get a different felt tip, which may or may not be easier or harder to use depending on your personal preference. So this review dragged on far longer than I wanted it to. Basically, I think this is a great $3 liner, especially if you love pens, and especially if you're looking for a super soft felt tip because you like the control that a felt tip gives you, but you don't necessarily like the short, stubby, precise tips. You just want something that lays a nice, clean line down quickly. This is a great option for you. And of course, I really hope that the comparison to other liners within the e.l.f. collection helped as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!